Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. All right, hope your Saturday is off to a magnificent start. I would like to welcome, for the first time ever, our Instagram audience. So there are going to be people who are finding this show for the very first time ever. Welcome. This is episode 2198. That is 2198 consecutive days we've done this show live from, well, either my office here, the car, hotels, airports, doctors' offices, anywhere that I might be. We fire up a live stream and we hang out. But and this has been all coming up on 6 years worth of shows without ever missing a day. Literally. I'm the freaking Cal Ripken of live streams. Never missed a day. Literally never missed a day. 2198. But we always have gone live on Facebook and YouTube. And I just, after 6 years, decided, hey, let's get fancy schmancy. And let's buy streaming software and a microphone and a whole studio setup and all that good stuff. And the streaming software allows me to send this show to multiple platforms. So we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for the first time ever. So big shout out to all of our Instagram peeps. Someone said more to Matt Trine from Instagram, but a 5-year listener. Well, I appreciate you so much for that. Thanks for being there. All right. A couple things we'll delve into. You know the drill. I'll give you the topics that are percolating on my end, and then anything you got, fire away. Saints hiring a quarterback coach, Andrew Janocko. Talked about him on AFR on Friday. The news came down. I think I love what they did with the staff. I mean, look, you've only got 4 offensive staffers back. You've turned over the entire thing. And whatever Dennis Allen and Derek Carr may try to sell you about how they finished strong, and they did. They won 4 of their last 5, and the offense was efficient late. But keep in mind who you were playing, right? The Panthers are the worst team in football. You beat the Giants with Tommy Cutlets at quarterback. You beat Atlanta, who was terrible. And you did beat Tampa, who's a playoff team, on the road, which was your best win. And then you went on the road and played the Rams and got absolutely just pimp slapped. So if they really, I would say actions speak louder than words. If they really, really believed they were on the right path, they wouldn't have run off their entire offensive staff. So Andrew Janocko, 36 years old. He and Kubiak worked together with the Vikings, and actually Clancy Barone, who's the Saints tight ends coach, was the offensive line coach in Minnesota, and Janocko was his assistant or co-offensive line coach in 2018. When Kubiak got promoted to OC in Minnesota, Janocko got promoted to quarterback's coach. He took Kubiak's job. So as they both moved up together. So they have some synergy there. They've got history together, which is great. I think all that's a very, very, very net positive. I love getting younger. And it's not that I don't like old coaches. Please don't misunderstand me. It's that the NFL, as people always say, is a copycat league. Look at what is working. Look at the best offenses in the NFL, except for this year where you had McCarthy in Dallas and I guess Joe Brady for half the season in Buffalo, not quite half the season in Buffalo. All of the top offenses in the league were all from this Shanahan-McVay tree. So, yes, go pluck a branch off that tree or several branches and see if it can improve your offense. So I like it. I like what the Saints did. And then, did you see what happened last night? So Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator that Alabama had hired. So Kalen DeBoer brought Grubb with him from Washington to Tuscaloosa. Well, the Seahawks have hired officially now Ryan Grubb to be their offensive coordinator. So DeBoer, after hiring Grubb as his OC, is now looking for a new OC. One of the kind of shady things they did, though, it was a week or two ago that the news started to percolate a little bit that the Seahawks were interested in Grubb, and we did a Bama is burning then, and it was a lot of fun. One of the reasons apparently they waited to announce this was the fact that they wanted to wait for the 30-day portal window to close. So if players who had come to Bama, or players at Bama who had stayed, I should say, players at Bama who hadn't entered um, the portal window is now closed for them, so they can't leave now that Grubb's gone. That's a little shady. I don't like that very much, but I do like that now Alabama's gonna have to find another offensive coordinator, which is great. Okay, you know the drill. If you're on YouTube, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Big shout out to our friends there on Instagram, Josh Johnson 6320, Flip Coach 21, Kaysen, Chuck Bro. What's up, Chuck Bro? Kevin Nakado, Roy 014, CBL8. Appreciate y'all for being there. First time ever on the gram. So let's kick it. Let's make a good impression. All right, let's say some good morning. See what y'all got. You know the drill. Trivia Carter, what up? Tim Gotro. Will Terrio's letter from yesterday be clipped? There's a few people I know that need to share it. Let's say they are his target audience. I will do. So yesterday, Terrio's letter on AFR was about the start of the baseball season, and it was kind of targeting baseball parents, and it was perfect and hilarious. And he does some form of that every year around this time, and it was absolutely magnificent. So yes, thank you for the reminder. I will absolutely clip it and post it. Stephen Oob, a book topic you'd like to write about, not LSU. Probably, I would think, okay, well, what do I know a lot about? And I would probably, and what am I passionate about? I'd probably tell you like the state of media in 2024. What works, what doesn't work, why it works, why what doesn't work doesn't, how things have changed. I think that'd be interesting. I feel like I got a lot of experience to write that book too. Um, or I could always say, Dear Drew, which is right there. That when Drew was when we were in the hospital with Drew, I journaled. A lot of you know this story, but I'll say it for those that don't. I journaled every day that we were there, and I did it in the form of a letter to Drew, telling him about his day, with the idea that when he got older, he'd have a full record of what he went through at the beginning of his life. And years ago, several years ago, Erica and I never put it in a book form. I just had it on a flash drive. And years ago, Erica took that flash drive without me knowing and had it printed and bound into a book, and so it sits up there. So I don't know, man. I've thought a lot about should I ever pursue publishing that. Um, I'm very conflicted because it was never meant for anybody but Drew. Um, but I don't like just. I'll never put limitations on him, but I don't know that Drew's ever going to be able to read and understand that, right? So, like, could it help somebody else? Maybe. Our experience probably could help people. So I don't know. I've thought about that, but never too deeply. And that's Morning Scone. For those who are finding us for the first time, sometimes we go on tangents. We talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Christian, can't wait for the official Bama burning segment on Monday. I don't know how am I gonna. I guess I don't. I feel like I've already done the Grub story on Bama's burning. Christian, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to somehow. I'll think on it this weekend. I'll have to somehow freshen it up. Rex, Jerry G, Jesse Post, Malcolm McKay, Larry Garner, Austin Kidder. After 6 years at Cox, I've accepted a similar position at Comcast. I should have a lot more opportunity, room for growth. Looking forward to bigger, better things. Cool, Austin. Good job. Are you staying out in Vegas? Or are you coming back this way? Kelly Gross. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Randall Offrecht. Jay Maggio. Jerry G. The NFL honors is a joke. Why? Michael Castello. What up? Bubba Smith. Deborah Cowart. Gabe Daigle. Ryan Stadler. Good morning. Finally ended up getting the '03 coaches trophy that you got. Pretty awesome with the helmet display. Cool. Yeah, so right there, that's a replica of the '03 national championship trophy on my shelf back there. Edward O. Nussbus driver. Can't wait to see Purdy lift the Lombardi. Nah. Um, I don't know, man. If you feel that way, then you're definitely not a Saints fan. I don't know how anybody that's a Saints fan could even consider cheering for the 49ers ever. I just, you know. I'll never cheer for the 49ers ever. I was at the grocery store last night and one of the cashiers was like, "Hey man, got to get the Niners to do it for us." He's basically like an anti-Taylor Swift person, whatever. And I was like, "Hell no, man. I'm going all for the Chiefs. You kidding me? Got nothing to do with Taylor Swift. It's got everything to do with the fact that as a Saints fan, I don't know how you could ever cheer for the 49ers in anything ever." David Tolson celebrating my birthday in Texas. All right, David, happy birthday, man. Hope it's a great one. Cheers to you. Yesterday was T-Bob's birthday. Y'all were very close to sharing a birthday. Tim Gotro, Matt, the Iron Voice. Moscona never misses a stream. I don't know if I'm the Iron Voice. I guess like the Iron Man. I get it, like Cal, the Iron Man. Danny Brabham, I was there from the beginning. Hashtag legendary listener. Very cool. Wendell Norman, Patrick thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. I've said your name many, many, many times on the stream. Patrick Landry, Barry Jocelyn, Cliff Nelson. Good morning, Uncle Scone. Team Drew. Let's push that last whiskey raffle now that we have a new audience. Yeah, man. Good call. So a big shout out as well to all of you hanging out with us on Insta for the first time ever. That's really cool. Jester70123 said, I'll only root for the 49ers if they're playing the Falcons. Fair enough. Or if it Campbell Makia said, agreed on the Niners. How could a Saints fan cheer for them? Bingo. The only way that I think as a Saints fan, the only way I could ever cheer for the Niners would be if them winning directly benefited the Saints. It's almost like if with Alabama, right? It would have to be like the Iron Bowl, the Iron Bowl, and you were trying to break a tie to go to the SEC championship game, and like you needed Auburn to lose, so you cheer for Bama. Like that happened in 2001. That happened in '01, if you remember. So, or you may not remember, but LSU was a 3-loss team in 2001, and Auburn ended up losing to Alabama. So Bama beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and the game that got postponed because of 9/11 was LSU Auburn. So when LSU beat Auburn, that hung Auburn their third loss, and LSU won the West by a tiebreaker. So, like, that was one of those times where, as an LSU fan, you cheered for Bama because it benefited you. That's like the only way that I could ever imagine that. All right, y'all do me a favor, please. Smash that like button on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel. We appreciate y'all for being there. As always, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. If you're just jumping aboard, we are welcoming our Instagram audience today for the first time ever, streaming on Instagram Live. And I might try tomorrow, like I was able to link my LinkedIn as well. So maybe tomorrow we'll try to go LinkedIn also and go for. Cliff, by the way, so I did, well, here you go. Here's the raffle ticket link that Cliff was talking about. So our friends over at S&P are holding their rare whiskey raffle. They got a great list. I mean, they got Old Rip 10, they got Van Winkle 12-year Lot B, they've got Pappy 15. So they got three of the Pappies, or three of the Van Winkles, I should say. All of the Wellers. They got it's a great list. I mean, it is a great whiskey list. And the best part about it is all the proceeds will benefit Baton Rouge Ancient Athletes and St. Lillian Academy. So it's Drew's school. That's why I get involved. And my guy KP over at S&P is an awesome dude, and he's been kind enough to make St. Lillian one of the beneficiaries of the raffle. And It's a great school. It's been a great blessing to our family and a lot of special needs families. So if you can buy tickets, please do. And the raffles on Tuesday, we'd candidly we're trying to break $20,000. And as of yesterday, when I checked, we were at about 13K, which is awesome because it's the you generally like double the amount of sales in the last day. So I think we're gonna get there. I think we're gonna smoke that number. But if you could buy raffle tickets, they're $10 a piece. The more you buy, the more you can get. There's deals like if you buy, it's maybe like $100, you get 12 or 15 or something. It's 200, you get 25. It's something like that. Anyway, but please, if you could, I just posted the link. That'd be awesome. Michael Angeron, morning, Matt. What's going to happen when you have to take the show mobile again? What platform will you stream on? Excuse me. That's a good question, Michael. Very good question. So what he's alluding to there is like if I stream, so like let's say I do the car on the road, like we're traveling. So there are days where I'll just do like a short show in the car while I'm driving, or YouTube, because I don't know. But actually, you know what? I think I can go live on StreamYard from my phone and still send it to all these platforms. So I should still be able to do it. Michael, I just got to get StreamYard on my phone, and then I can. So I take that back. I should be able to do it. It just won't be the studio setup. It'll just be holding my phone. Right. But good question. I'm glad you thought of that. Kirk Taylor, Matt Lynn, Strong Side. Good morning. Love Terrio segment on AFR yesterday. Y'all had me rolling. Yeah, I will post it. I'll clip it and post it. Gary Atchison, morning. Things looking up for the Saints. Gary, look, I mean, I will tell you, I like what they did on the offensive staff. I think Clint Kubiak was a good hire. At least I understand the direction you're trying to go. You're trying to pluck branches off the McVay Shanahan tree, and I like that. I think it's a good idea. You still have to have players, and your offensive line's a mess. I don't think Derek Carr is anything better than a mid-level NFL quarterback. You have an aging running back in Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas, I do not believe will be back, and you did not get the production out of Foster Moreau and Jawan Johnson this year that you'd hoped at tight end. So, and then there's the Taysom Hill question, like what does he do? What role will he have in the new offense? Don't know. So I still think you have a lot of personnel questions you have to get right. But as far as what you did on the coaching staff, I think they did well. Jerry Evans deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Screw the NFL. Jerry, I am pulling for Jari, but I don't think he's a Hall of Fame lock. Like, so follow me here because I remember thinking the same thing that Jari Evans was going to be a lock, and I remember having this conversation years ago with Mike Triplett, and he was kind of like, you might want to pump the brakes on that because, and listen, here you go. He was a 4-time first team All-Pro, 2010s All-Decade team. Okay, and a whole bunch of Saints Hall of Fame and a whole bunch of other stuff. 6-time Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl doesn't really matter as much anymore as we know. But really look at 4-time first team All-Pro, 1-time second team All-Pro. So 5 All-Pro honors, but 4 times, first team All-Pro. Let's look at Alan Faneca. So remember, Evans was 4 times first team All-Pro and 2010s All-Decade. Faneca, 6-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowl selection, and the 2000s All-Decade team. Like, he was, and Faneca had to wait his turn. Like, Faneca wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, it was, let's look at Mawai. Kevin Mawai went through a similar path, and Mawai was on 2 All-Decades teams. Kevin Mawai was on the All-Decades team. No, he was on the 2000s All-Decade. He was a 7-time first team All-Pro and 2-time second team All-Pro. So Mawai was a 9-time All-Pro selection, 8-time Pro Bowl, and 2000s All-Decades team. And he wasn't a slam dunk. My point is, it ain't a slam dunk for Jari Evans to get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm just telling you, man. Like, do I think he should be in? Yes. Do I think eventually he will get in? Yes. But man, like, when I watched those dudes have to wait, when I watched Mawai and Faneca have to wait, like, Jari Evans gonna have a wait, bro. Hey, bud. Drew. Hey, babe. Hey, I gave him all of his meds except his Lasix and his, Quillavant. It's on the counter, so if you wanna push it now. Okay? All right. Please, 205 watching. I really appreciate if you take a quick second, smash that like button on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post, and shout out to the Gram. What up, Taylor O'Brien, the Taylor Technique, my dude. A huge in Japan. What up, Everett G. Sanders, Nick Schramm, Blake Schindler. Appreciate y'all there on Insta. So for those watching on IG, first time ever going live for Morning Scone on Insta. So I think tomorrow we'll probably bring in LinkedIn as well. So whatever platforms this here streaming software allows me to stream to, we'll probably go to all of them. So as many of them as we can. Let's see. Kirk Taylor, Matt, went all professional for Morning Scone. Kind of missing the old school. New angle I'm adjusting hard right now. All good, dude. But you know what, Kirk? I honestly think this angle is better. Like you get to see all the shelves and everything behind me instead of just like it used to be. You just saw this right here. Now you get to see everything I got up there. You can see the whole room back there. I got a rug too. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I bought a rug. Hopefully to deaden some of the sound. So I got a rug. See the rug? A rug. Anyway. Really tied the room together, did it not? All right, Tiger Diver, Stanley Massett, Craig Duga recently got into Power Slap. Goes to show how anything can rise in popularity. They even have a 2 for flinching rule. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I don't know, man. That's brutal. Watching their faces swell up and everything just to stand there and get slapped. It's one thing if, like in a fight, and you can, intelligently defend yourself and you get hit. It's another when you just stand there and get hit. Harold Pierce, are you doing Whiskey and Wine for the Super Bowl? So, yes, Harold. So, T-Bob and I will be live at Don Juan. However, we are doing a Whiskey and Wine companion show. So, we will be live during the Super Bowl. So, we'll have a live stream fired up. If you want to come hang out at Don Juan, come on. It is very casual. It's not nearly as not to say Whiskey and Wine is regimented, but we got 90 minutes. We got 90 minutes and we got to blow and go. And I'm not all about people jumping on the stream and disrupted and all this stuff. We'll just be live the whole entire show. So it'll be a lot of up and down and moving around and talking and whatever. So, so come hang out with us at Don Juan. If you can't hang out with us at Don Juan, fire up the stream with me and T-Bob on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube or Facebook. Abner Neal, thanks for the upgrade. It's awesome. Thank you, Abner Neal. Appreciate that. Hey, you know what, Abner Neal, for you, Chase Cottom, Chris Carter, JB Johnson, morning from DFW, longtime listener to all of your shows. Love your work. Thank you, JB. Appreciate that, man. Very kind. Cliff, Bama's still burning. Question: why would Kelly leave a head coach job for an OC job? Why did he want to leave UCLA that badly? So it wasn't just an OC job. Like he was looking to go to the NFL as well. I mean, he interviewed for NFL OC jobs. I think a couple things. At some point, and again, I don't know all of the nuance of the UCLA job, Cliff, but she was asking about Chip Kelly. So Chip Kelly's leaving UCLA for Ohio State to be their offensive coordinator. So Bill O'Brien had been hired as the OC. Bill O'Brien took the head coaching job at Boston College, and now Chip Kelly is replacing Bill O'Brien at Ohio State. It's worth mentioning that Ryan Day and Chip Kelly have a great relationship. Ryan Day played for Chip Kelly at New Hampshire, and then they coached together at multiple stops, including Ryan Day was on Chip Kelly's staff with both the Eagles and the Niners. So they have a long history together to begin with. That's number one. I think UCLA, the resources that program has gotten have just been not very good. And then when you look at what happened this year, like Chip Kelly had back to back to back winning seasons after inheriting a bad program, building it up, back to back to back winning seasons. And then this year, if you look at, we talked about Bill Conley's SP plus rankings, where one of the things he considers is returning production. UCLA, before Chip Kelly left, when we talked about it earlier this week, UCLA's returning production was 95th in the country. They had 10 players enter the portal. They've got 9 with draftable grades that are in this year's draft. Dante Moore, their blue chip quarterback, transferred out. So I think they were already pretty decimated. And now they're going into the Big Ten, where, life is going to get much more difficult in the Big Ten than it was in the Pac 12. So I think Chip Kelly looked around and was like, I'm setting myself up to fail. Like, I don't have the resources I need. My roster's gone. We're going into the Big Ten. Like, what am I doing? And he was, let me look up, then let's just talk about the money, right? Chip Kelly at UCLA, so he made $6.1 million this past year, okay? 6.1, that's a good amount of money. But keep in mind, 6.1 million in Los Angeles isn't what it is in the Midwest, but also remember Chip Kelly got buyouts from the Eagles and the 49ers. So Chip Kelly ain't exactly hurting for money. That's another part of it. Brian Hartline made 1.6 as the offensive coordinator this past year. So let's just say Chip Kelly gets 2 million. Let's say Chip Kelly goes from 6 million as the head coach at UCLA, living in LA where cost of living is significant, to Columbus, Ohio, where he's making 2 million, and I would assume he's probably still got a ton of buyout money that he's sitting on. I guess my point is, financially you can make it work. I don't think he's hurting for cash is essentially what I'm saying. What up, Brad Duncan? Water Lily Design LA, B Jared 67, Colt Rogers. Appreciate y'all for being there on Insta. Our maiden voyage on Insta. Luke Miller 187. Reed Saya, what's up? SJ Bullets, what's up? Fifth funniest. Appreciate y'all for being there on IG. First time ever we've gone live on Instagram. So for those finding the show for the first time ever, this is episode 2198. 2,198 consecutive days we fired up a live stream called Morning Scone. Literally never missed a day. Mostly here from my office at home. We've done it from the car, from airports, from hotels, from Central Park in New York, pre-op the day I had knee surgery. We'd never miss a day. I'll fire up a live stream literally every day of my life. So, and we just chat, rap a little bit. So appreciate y'all for being here. Jeff Jones, let's see, Edwardo, Terrio's letter was fire. Chris Williams, what's up, Matt? Do you think allowing high school players to go straight to the NBA would help college basketball? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely it would. But the NBA makes that decision. And if you're the NBA, consider it this way. Like, if you're an NBA owner or governor and you have to invest a draft pick and capital into a first round pick, or when, like, the more information you have, the better decision you can make, right? So are you going to know more about an 18-year-old coming out of high school or a 19-year-old after 1 year in college? Like, the best example I give this all the time is Skal Labissiere. I think I'm saying that right. I can't remember if I'm saying his last name right. But you remember him? He went to Kentucky. So Skal was a guy who was in his class, and I think it might have been the same class. Was he the same class as Ben Simmons? That dude was like a consensus. Like, if he had come out of high school into the draft, if he were able, he would have been a consensus 1 or 2 pick, right? But he had to go to college. So he goes to Kentucky, really struggles at Kentucky, and ends up being a late first round pick, right? Well, all those NBA teams got more information about him his 1 year at Kentucky as he dramatically stepped up in competition. So if you're the NBA and like you have to make that type of investment, you don't care about the college game. You want to know as much as you can about that player before the investment of a draft pick and the money. So yes, I mean, absolutely. If players could go straight from high school to the pros, it would help the college game because you wouldn't have as many of sort of the 1 year mercenaries. Now you wouldn't have as much talent in the game because all the one and dones would never show up on campus. You never see a Cam Thomas, you never see a Ben Simmons, those types of players. But it would be a more team oriented game where you would get veteran players. Now the transfer portal has changed that, but you would get more veteran players in college basketball. Yes. Scott Beckham, dude, been away for over a week, come back, a whole new setup. Awesome. Congrats. Yeah, man. So, decided to step up the game a little bit. I've been talking about it for a long time, but finally just went ahead and did it. Brant Roban, walking up my stairs feels like I've run 10 laps. Dang, this COVID. Anyways, go Tigers. Sorry it's kicking your butt there, Brant. That stinks, man. Hopefully you get through it. Hydrate, dude. Hydrate plenty. I'll tell you something that helped tremendously was Liquid IV, or use Matt Flynn's stuff, My High, but use those hydration boosts, either Liquid IV if you can get it, or My High if you can get it. Tomachita Thomas, like the microphone. Thank you. Good morning. Lewis 14 and 4. What's going on? Good morning, Earthlings. Rocky Killian, morning, Matt. I have a special needs brother. I know the challenges. You're a good dude, and you guys seem like great parents. Much respect. Thank you, Rocky. Appreciate it, man. God bless you and your family too, man. Cliff, really think that book could help a lot of people. Team Drew is an inspiration. Could offer a lot of parents hope. Cliff, I mean, I guess I don't think I have like this great desire right now to take Dear Drew and try to turn it into a book and promote it, push it and all that. Maybe the day will come and that'll be a passion project, maybe. But, short of someone just coming to me saying, hey, we heard you have this thing. Can we go publish it and distribute it? I'd be, Okay. Austin Kidder plans to move back to Prairieville sometime in the next year. Leaving Vegas for Prairieville. Look at you, man. It'll be great to have you home, man. Jerry G, Matt, is it true the NFL hates the Saints? I think Roger Goodell and Sean Payton certainly had a very it had a lot of animosity toward each other, professional animosity. Hey, buddy. Okay. Hey, you haven't been here since we've done the new setup, have you? Oh, okay. Here we go. Hey, do you want to say good morning to Dad's show? Huh? You want to come say good morning to Dad's show real quick? Yeah. Everybody's here and they want to see you. Hey, listen, I'm going to say good morning, Dad's show, and then go watch videos, okay? Come see. Real quick. Come say good morning. Come say good morning to everybody. You talking to the microphone? You want to talk in the microphone? Hey, what do you say?
Hi, Dad.
Well, that was really sweet. I love you so much. Did you sleep so good? You did. You slept till 9. Oh, you slept till 9:30. You so lazy. Lazy bones, huh? Lazy bones. Hey, what do you see?
No.
Who do you see?
Drew.
Drew and who?
Daddy.
Yep. Hey, what are we gonna do today? Huh? What do you want to do today? Huh? What do you want to do today, huh? After Dad's show, what are we gonna do? Get dressed and go where? Daddy's work. Oh, hey. Did you have a parade at your school yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes. Did you get some beads?
Yes.
Yeah. You got some beads? Who walked around with you during your parade, huh? Miss who? Who walked with you during your parade? Miss who?
Sydney.
Miss. Who walked with you during your parade?
Christine.
Miss Christine did, and Miss Claudette. I love you. Okay, you can go watch you want to go watch your videos? Or you want to stay with Daddy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go watch your iPad. Okay. All right, we'll see you later. Videos? Okay, I'll be right back. Hang on. Okay. Apologies for that. Although I know most of you appreciate Drew's pop ins, but thank you. All right. Red Zone Zombie. It was funny. Mark Bork, what's going on? Clayton Knight, Patrick Landry. Anyone you know that could give 1v1 DB safety lessons to my son, freshman in high school? Patrick, my suggestion to you would be to call Ryan Clark over at Traction. Now, Ryan trains a whole bunch of pros and college players, but I'm sure if you called, he would either call over to Traction and he could either do it or he could give you some recommendations. Clayton Knight, speaking of the voice, where's Tremaine? Let's see. B-Boyer 504, what's up, man? LSU Allen Owings, what's up? Trey B. LeBlanc 12, what up, y'all? Appreciate you, Brad. Best job in the world, man. Appreciate Hayden Latour, what's going on? Greg the Kaiser. Appreciate y'all, man. Everybody watching there on Insta. I do have to toggle back on Insta. It's weird. So the streaming software I'm using, it shows sequentially all the comments over here on the side, Facebook and YouTube. But for Insta, I have to go into a different window to see the Instagram comments. So I can see you there on Insta, but just do me a favor, drop your comments and just be patient with me. I'll toggle over and get your comments on Insta as I can. Whoops. Let me go. JB Johnson, Matt, with Bama losing Grubb, how does that affect LSU's matchup with them next season? Also, do you expect even more Bama offensive players to hit the portal now after spring because of it? So, two really good questions. Number one, the first part of that, JB, is I don't know how it'll affect the offense until I know who he hires, right? So, let me see who Kalen DeBoer hires as his offensive coordinator, and then I'll be able to better answer that question. Do I expect more players to leave after the spring? Yes. I think every program everywhere will have players leave when the spring portal window opens. That's just the nature of college football. And for those that missed it when we started, so Ryan Grubb, who was Kalen DeBoer's OC at Washington, who came with him to Tuscaloosa, is leaving Alabama now without having ever coached to go be the OC of the Seattle Seahawks. He's going back to Seattle. And one of the things that I think is kind of shady, is apparently, even though this news had started percolating a couple of weeks ago, apparently they waited until the 30-day portal window expired to announce the news so players wouldn't leave, and now they can't. So I think we will probably see we will see more players leave. Yes, I do. After spring. Bill Cranford, can't imagine cheering for San Francisco. Same. I mean, like anything is a better option for me than San Francisco. Except Atlanta. Clayton Knight still have Weller single barrel from last year. Clayton, if you want to trade, dude, I'll do a trade for you for a Weller single barrel. I mean, I have one up here. That's the orange Weller right here. But if you want to do a trade, man, I would gladly trade you for a Weller single barrel. I mean, I got tons of stuff and I got multiples of a lot of great bottles and tons of allocated stuff. But if you're interested in trading, man, let me know. If you haven't opened it, I guess is a better way of saying it. Murder Giraffe, Ryan Stadler. I'd rather watch Taylor Swift stiff arm somebody for a score than watch the Niners win anything. Thank you. Ryan Stadler gets it, man. I think maybe you have to be a Saints fan of a certain age to remember when the Saints were in the old NFC West. And for me, my first memories as a Saints fan were actually the Saints were good teams. My earliest memories were late 80s, early 90s. And that's when, the Saints made the playoffs for the first time in 87. They won the division in 91. You had the Dome Patrol, Bobby Hebert, Dalton Hilliard, Eric Martin. Those were good teams. But there were teams where the Saints would win 11 and the Niners would win 12. The Saints would win 12, the Niners would win 13. They just couldn't get past Joe Montana in that group. So you were a really good team in a division with the best team of the era. And so I hate the 49ers. And then for it to circle back the way it did in 2011 when the best team the Saints ever had, again, had to go on the road in the divisional round. No, I will never cheer for the 49ers ever in anything. Joe and Matt, good morning, Matt. Love the new setup. This week has been a busy one at work. When did you set up like this? So it was this week. It was one day this week that we moved over. It might have been Monday or Tuesday that we moved over here kind of permanently. So it's a work in progress, as it will be every day. But I had like a table desk in the middle of this room. I now have an L-shaped desk here. Where I am is in a corner of my office with an L-shaped desk. I got my boom mic set up, my board here, my audio board, my streaming laptop with the HD cam. I'm going to make it look a lot better over here too. There's still a lot of wires strewn about and everything. I just have it hooked up for connectivity right now, but I need to fix it, make the setup be what it's going to be, presentable and everything like that. But anyway. Drew Riles. Morning, Matt. Love your show and content. Your Bama burning content was amazing. Hopefully it's not done, Drew. Thank you. Colin Lawrence, do you like LSU with the points today? I'm not betting on LSU basketball. By the way, the Otter had a great week, man. He hit again last night with VCU. I think Jimmy was 11-2-2 this week in college basketball. 4 plays today: Kentucky, Florida, Michigan State, Baylor. Against the spread. And remember, if it's between 1.5 and 6.5, buy the half a point. Don't ever get stuck losing because of a half. It's worth it to buy the extra half a point. Hunter Broadhead, Matt, good morning. Do you think you can start having guests on the show, maybe like Jimmy Hott? Yes, this software does allow me to invite people onto the show. Let me try, actually. Hang on one second. Let me what I wanted. Hang on. All right, hang on. Let me see real quick if I can. Who would answer their email? Let me see if I can do this real quick. I'm trying to send this link to Terrio. All right, hang on. Let's see. Are you awake? It's 10 a.m. You better be awake. If so, check Gmail. I want you to come on Morning Scone. All right. Okay. I just sent that to Terrio. Let's see if he replies. I don't know if he will. Anyway. Kelly Presley, morning. I missed your pick for the Super Bowl. Yeah, I like the Chiefs. I'm not going against Mahomes. There's Patrick Mahomes is an underdog is 10 1-1, I think. So or 10-1. like that's way too heavy of a trend. You make that guy the underdog, like he's going to make you pay. So you give them any added motivation that they don't need. Yeah. All right, it's not after further review. It's Morning Scone. We're presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. If you need orthopedics, go to Brock. They're absolutely the best. Remember Brock in Tangipahoa Parish. So if you're there in Hammond, or Brock in Hammond. So if you're in Tangipahoa Parish, go to the best, Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. It's good enough for the Saints, for the LSU Tigers, the Brock Docs. Yeah, they're good enough for you and me too. Dr. Chip Bankston did my knee surgery back in the day. So Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And of course, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. I could do it like this. Morning Scone is brought to you by, no, that ain't what I wanted to do, sorry. Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, with 6 locations across the greater Baton Rouge area. And Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. I'm just having way too much fun with all this stuff. All right. Let's see. Trey B said, Matt, do you have a favorite piece of LSU or Saints memorabilia? Favorite piece of LSU or Saints memorabilia? I mean, I got some cool stuff, honestly, but this is going to be really weird to say, man. The more I get to do the job that I do, like the less you want things and the more you want like the memories. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't, covering the national championship game against Clemson, for example, I didn't think, I wasn't thinking, what piece of memorabilia can I take from this? It was more like, let me take pictures with my friends and some of the coaches that I have a relationship with, and you just kind of enjoying that moment. And that's an awful, awful answer. But so a couple things I do have. This is Andrew Whitworth's helmet from his freshman year at LSU. And it's signed by Whitworth. It's from 2001, and that is probably the coolest thing that I have. So Whitworth was I'm sorry. So back in the day, there was, y'all will remember this. There was a sports shop. I don't think it's still there, on the west side of Tiger Stadium. It was like a gift shop, like in the stadium. Like if you were approaching the west side of Tiger Stadium, the gates on the west side, there was a sports shop right there. Well, after every season, a lot of people didn't know this, but they would sell helmets and jerseys. They'd take the nameplate off the jersey and sell the jerseys. Actually, they sold some of the jerseys with the nameplates on it, because I have John Corbello's jersey, incidentally. And they would sell helmets too. Well, I mean, I was in school at the time, and I remember popping in there, and I bought that helmet. It's like $200, which was a lot for me in college. But still, anyway. But I mean, think about it now, right? And it's a really cool helmet, because in 01, you had the American flag post 9/11. Yeah, it has a BCS sticker on it, because LSU played Illinois in the BCS that year in the Sugar Bowl, and it's got a Coach Mack sticker on it, because that was the year Charles McClendon died. So I thought, like, that's really cool. I think that's a really cool thing. So what up, Rivers Huey? Good morning. Freed RPO3, K Welch, what's going on? Coach Gene Austin, what's going on? Let's see. Shane H34, do you think the Saints keep Hill? Let me look at his contract, how they have it structured. They've restructured so many. It's almost like I got to remember what he's structured at now. I think Taysom Hill is one of the really intriguing players now, because with the new OC, like, do they have use for Taysom in his Taysom role? So, all right, so he signed a 4-year, $40 million with 21.5 guaranteed. So they have a potential out for his deal this year. He's due 15.7. His dead number is 16.9, so that's negligible. They could save $10 million against the cap if they designate him a post June 1st release or trade. So they could save about $10 million, but then you'd be pushing money into future years. You've already got Taysom Hill money on the books through 2027 because of the way they restructured. Or the way they structured. So my guess is you have Taysom on the team this year, and then you see how it goes, and then 25 is probably the year you move on, unless if Sean Payton wants to give you a king's ransom for him. Just a thought. Andrew Juge, what up, cuz? It's my go-to bourbon advice guy. So for everybody watching on I know I'm repeating myself, but just to keep repeating myself. So this is Morning Scone, episode 2198. That's consecutive days without having ever missed a show. But we've always primarily been YouTube, Facebook, and I have new streaming software that allows me to send this to multiple platforms. So we're on IG Live for the first time ever. So thanks to everybody who's joined us there on Insta. Appreciate y'all. Coach Fontenot, what's up? Robert Webb, Shane Corville, good morning. Parker King, appreciate y'all. Drop your comments. Happy to talk about whatever y'all want. Brian Turner, the 09 and 2011 Saints lines are the best ever. In Saints history for sure. Kenny Futch, what's going on? Dwayne now calls Feinbaum and bleep Dwayne. Going to get me all upset if I start thinking about Dwayne from Thibodeau. Dude owes me $500, and it's not that I need the $500. It's the principle. Like, well, you're going to start me down that road again. Never mind. Jay Borden, what's going on? Kerry Hughes. Huge in Japan is Brad Duncan. Okay. Well, he was also on here as Duncan Custom Kicks a bit ago as well. Kenny Futch, what's going on? Tony Dolby, Cliff Nelson, watch party at Don Juan for anyone in town. We have a good time. Come on, bro. It's going to be a good time, Cliff. Brother-in-law, Jeff's going to come by with a buddy of his. So my brother-in-law, Jeff, it's Erica's sister's husband, right? So my sister-in-law's husband, brother-in-law. Jennifer and Sophia, my niece, who a lot of you have met on our vacations. Sophia is in Orlando for cheer competition. And so Lauren, a.k.a. Larry, and Reese went as well. So, and Olivia went. So it's basically just all the guys that didn't go. So anyway, so Jeff is going to come to Don Juan tomorrow as well. So just like a bachelor weekend for all of us, except me, because Erica stayed. Erica didn't go to Disney. She's here. Brian Turner. Yeah. See, Brian Turner saying that Jari should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. No, he shouldn't have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I hate to say that, and I hope Jari gets in, but I just went through it, man. Like he did not have as decorated a career as guys like Mawai and Faneca, and they had to wait their turn. He's not a slam dunk for the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you. He's worthy of being a finalist, and I think he's worthy of being in, and I hope he gets in, but he is not a slam dunk. I'm telling you, he's not. It's not to say he won't get in. I hope he does, and I think eventually he will, but he's going to have to wait. Landon Weber, good morning from Shintech. Hope to make it Don Juan. Watch party's not tonight, Landon. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow for the Super Bowl, not tonight. The Super Bowl is tomorrow. The Super Bowl is Sunday, Landon, not tonight. Tonight is Saturday. Tony Dolby, my son works for LSU computer department. Let's see. Make defense great again. Morning, Matt. Some Penelope toasted yesterday. What are your thoughts on the juice? I like Penelope toasted. I think they did a good job with that. I think their Louisiana Select Batch 2 was really good as well. There's some people who love Penelope, and it ascended to great heights very quickly. It's not my favorite. But there are a lot of people who love it, man. Bearded Dragon, morning, Matt. Can't figure out the Pelicans. They beat a team with a better record, turn around and lose to the team below them, the Lakers. Yesterday or 2 nights ago was an emotional night for the Lakers with retiring Kobe or Kobe statue and everything like that. And look, the Pels got drubbed by the Lakers in Vegas, in the in-season tournament as well. So sometimes it's just matchups. And remember, we talked about the Clippers thing. That's an angle. Team on a long road trip, first game back, bet against them. Their home, family, wives, kids, tickets, all this sort of stuff. So Clippers were coming off a long road trip, first game back. we were on the Pels on that game. Craig Duga. I'm an important person. Office smells of rich mahogany. I have many leather-bound books. I'm very important. My office smells of rich mahogany. I have many leather-bound books. That's stupid. Anchorman. Landon, Jerry G, Robert Brantley, Brian Turner. Matt Luster said this cheering sound effect barely came through. It's so weird, man. I don't know why. I'm looking at the levels on the board. It sounds fine in my earpiece. I don't know why it's not coming through clean into the streaming software. Same with our bed. I mean, y'all should be hearing this. Y'all should be hearing that fine. But I know it's garbage. So, I don't know. I'll get someone smarter than me to look at it. James, love the new view. Thanks for putting out great content. Thank you, James. Clint, good morning. What's your starting rotation for baseball? Is Chase Shores in it? Clint, Chase Shores is not likely to pitch this year. Remember, he had Tommy John in the middle of the season last year, and that's usually about a 12 to 18-month recovery. So Chase Shores is not expected to pitch this year. Rotation, I think they'll go Hurd, Holman, Jump. And then your midweek guy will be Cade Anderson, freshman out of St. Paul's, who they like a lot. I think your opening day starting 9. I'll be curious to see what they do at catcher. I think the best way to do it to get your veterans out there on opening day would be Milazzo catching and Travinsky DHing. But we're going to see a lot of Brady Neal as well. You'll have Jared Jones at first, Josh Pearson at second, Tommy White at third, Michael Braswell at short. You'll have Mac Bingham in left, the Arizona transfer, Paxton Kling in center, and Jake Brown in right. I think it's your opening day starting lineup with Travinsky DHing. I think that's your opening day lineup. Bearded Dragon, Saints adding new offensive coaching staff. So my question, how much of an improvement would the offense have to make next season to save DA's job? I think they got to make the playoffs. I think that's unequivocal. Like, you've missed the playoffs now 3 straight seasons. If you miss the playoffs for a 4th straight season and 3 years under Dennis Allen, like, that's it. I think he is a lame duck coach if they don't make the playoffs. Shane said, which toasted brand would you recommend? So it's not always easy to find, but if you're looking for a toasted barrel whiskey, I think the Elijah Craig Toasted is great because they take just their regular 94 proof bourbon and they toast it. So Elijah Craig Toasted is one of the more attainable ones that's really good. Now, look, there's some char barrels like Parker Heritage that are magnificent, but those are super allocated, really hard to find. That's the tricky part, is finding something that's a toasted barrel whiskey that you can find. Trey B said, I'm excited to see what role Cam Johnson carves out for himself. I would agree with you. For those that don't know, Cam Johnson is, what's up, Ashton? Good morning. Ashton Kason watching. Kelly Gross watching on Instagram. All right. Appreciate y'all for being there. So Cam Johnson is the freshman lefty, 6'4", 240, throws 100 from the left side. He looks like a defensive end. I mean, he looks like a defensive end pitching. And he was a guy that everyone thought was going to be a top 10 pick in this most recent draft, and he didn't get his number. And so he didn't sign. He and his family were just very dead set on getting their number. Like, if I don't get it, I'll go to LSU. So he's here, and you got him for 3 years, and that's phenomenal because I don't know that LSU's ever had a dude like that here. That body, that arm talent from the left side is pretty incredible. Tony Dolby, what are the chances the Saints do badly and Bill signs with the Saints next year? I guess you're talking about Belichick. I don't know, man. It kind of feels like same thing with the OC, right? If you try something that doesn't work, you typically don't try the same thing. So it feels like if it doesn't work with Dennis Allen, the Saints wouldn't go. It's hard to say Bill Belichick's a retread. I don't think that's the case. I mean, he's obviously the greatest coach ever. Um, but I think they would go younger offensive mind. Uncle Houdat, morning. Just a question: is Chip Kelly related to Brian Kelly? Not that I don't think so. Not that I know. Brian Turner, Bama may lose to Wisconsin week 3, especially in Madison. Wisconsin's got a long way to go, brother. I don't know that their roster. We'll see what Luke Fickell's able to do in year 2. But remember, they had a complete overhaul from a system they used for 30 years. Big, giant offensive linemen, run oriented, to Luke Fickell spreading you out and slinging it around. Reminded me a lot of when Bill Callahan went to Nebraska. So we'll see. But I don't know that I'm a believer in I don't know that I'm a believer that Fickell's going to be able to get that done in Madison. Kobe Steed, Luke Breard, what's going on? D Roof, Blakey YT, Cpole 25. Appreciate y'all for being there. On the gram. If you're on YouTube, please smash the like button, subscribe up the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Jim Arsenault, Ronnie Duga, Tremaine. What up, Tremaine? Tremaine's digging the new setup. I appreciate you, Tremaine. The joke there for those that are unindoctrinated is that one day Tremaine kind of called me to the carpet because my nasals empty sometimes on the show, and so I sniffle and stuff like that, and he said how gross it was. But anyway. I've tried to do better, Tremaine. Jeff G, good morning. Going to see LSU baseball at Minute Maid against Texas in a couple weeks. Who are the new players do you expect to contribute year 1? Yeah, look, Jake Brown will be your opening day starter in right field, and he's a lefty, great arm. A lot of people thought he might come in and be a left-handed pitcher on this team, and he may end up contributing as a pitcher, but the bat and the glove will be in the field and in the lineup day 1. I mentioned a couple of the transfers that'll be in the rotation. Holman and Jump. Holman from Alabama, Gage Jump from UCLA. Justin Lohr is a lefty from Xavier that they'll use it as a back of the bullpen guy. They got a lot of them, man. Stephen Milam is a freshman coming in who might push for playing time on the infield. Braswell is a transfer from South Carolina who's going to get the first look at shortstop. Mac Bingham was a guy Jay recruited at Arizona who's going to get the opening day start in left field. So, anyway, Rick Manuel, more to Matt and Drew. That's a lot of mooses. Ronnie Duga to paid leave because Cap Hell knew was coming. Cap Hell has never left, Ronnie. That's the Saints live in that perpetual state. It was here whenever he was the coach. That's not the point. I think he just needed a year off. He needed to tap out. He needed to get off the treadmill. He did. Now he's back on. Kip Kippers, Clayton Knight. Thank y'all, man. Bubba Smith, Jerry G. Austin Kidder, Matt. I used to value entertainment and nightlife. Now we need a bigger house in a good school district. That's so good. So Austin lives in Vegas. He's from here. I've known Austin since we were kids, probably 7, 8 years old. Lives in Vegas now, but he's moving home. Von Bluesman, will Grubb's departure give rise to a new Bama is burning? So I did a Bama is burning last week about Grubb possibly leaving. And now that he is leaving, I'll need to find a different angle about it, but we'll see what we can do. I think I can do it. Damon Gilmore, thoughts on Jefferson Ocean? I think Jefferson's Ocean is good. I think it is one of the most overhyped, overpriced whiskeys in the world. For those that don't know, Jefferson's Ocean. Now, I have a caveat that I'm going to get to in a second. So Jefferson's Ocean is Jefferson's is a brand, and they put their barrels on these shark ships, right? And so the idea is, the concept is, so the barrels are on the ship and the ship's moving, so the juice is constantly moving in the barrel, right? Instead of just sitting sedentary in a warehouse and having to rotate it every so often, it's constantly moving. And then you have like the salinity of the ocean and all this sort of crap. They're selling you a story. And so then they price it at $85, $90, whatever it is. It's good, but it ain't $90 good. Now, the caveat is Jefferson's Ocean wheated bourbon is magnificent. If you like a wheated bourbon, like all the Wellers are wheated. Wheated tends to be softer and a softer, sweeter grain. I think the Jefferson's Ocean's wheated is every bit worth 80, $90. So if you can find a Jefferson's Ocean wheated, yes, I think that's magnificent. The Jefferson's, the regular Jefferson's Ocean, if that was a $45 bottle, I'd buy it all day. At 85, $90, you give me a glass, I'll drink it, but I ain't buying it. Kelly Presley, love the new setup. Thank you, Kelly. Chris P, only time I root for the Niners is if they're playing the Falcons. It'd still be hard to do. Brian Turner, you consider the 89 49ers team the greatest ever? I don't know that I've ever really given a lot of thought to that. Just candidly, I think when everyone always talks about the greatest teams ever, most people start with like the 85 Bears, right? I know people like the 72 Dolphins were the only undefeated team. I mean, I think the 07 Patriots were the best team I ever saw. The ones that were 18-0 and then lost in the Super Bowl. I don't think, obviously history won't remember them as the greatest team ever because they lost in the Super Bowl, but still. Trent Pledger setup looks great. Thank you so much. Travis Broussard, Niners ruin my childhood football fandom every year. There you go. There, hate him with the fury of 1,000 white hot suns. That's the point. That for all those, like that's the point. It's just you have to be a Saints fan of a certain age, and like I'm only 41, so it's not like I'm an old guy. And there's older Saints fans who went through way more miserable years. Like I don't remember drafting Russell Erksleben, right? I don't remember the 1-15 season. So there's a lot of Saints fans that remember way worse football than I do. But when I was a kid, my first memories were late 80s, early 90s, and the Saints were good then. That was Mora and Bobby Hebert and Dalton Hilliard and the Dome Patrol and Eric Martin. And I mean, those were fun teams to watch. But they could never get past the Niners, and they could never get over the hump in the playoffs. I mean, that's one of the reasons I hate the Eagles. I hate the Eagles because of the comeback in 93. What was that? It's the Falcons 93. There it was, January 4th, 1993, the 92 season, January 4th of 93. Bobby Hebert threw 3 second-half interceptions that led to 2 Eagles touchdowns and a field goal. The Saints were blitzed for a 26 fourth quarter point, lost 36-20 in the Dome. Randall Cunningham, I've always hated the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. I will never cheer for the Eagles ever. Don Cluout said live on IG. Let's go. Yeah, man. So again, just as a reminder, Whitney Walker, William Blair, Brian Mell, Trey Keeve, Taylor Young. What's up, y'all? Everybody watching on Insta. First time ever live on Insta. So it only took me nearly 2,300 episodes of Morning Scone, but we finally made it to we finally made it live to Insta. Isaac Stacks, Bronco fan here. LSU fan is Sean Payton, all he's hyped up to be. Yeah, I think Sean Payton's one of the most brilliant offensive minds in the history of the game. I do wonder, as the game evolves, is he offensively keeping up with the evolution? I think that's a fair question. But you don't win as consistently for as long as Sean Payton did in the NFL without being a great coach. He's a great coach, yes. Juan Cotto, DeBoer and his staff are already breaking the trust of players. Burn, Bama, burn. Oh, maybe that's the angle that I can take. That's the angle I'll take. See, Bearded Dragon said Peyton is good with a good quarterback, just not an average quarterback. First of all, I would argue that that's any coach in football. If you have a good quarterback, of course your team's going to be better. But I fundamentally disagree with you because Sean Payton, in years that Drew Brees was injured, never missed a beat with Teddy Bridgewater, with Taysom Hill, with Jameis Winston. So Yeah, I fundamentally disagree with that. Like Sean Payton has maximized all those guys. And Russell Wilson being a shell of what he was when he was an MVP and a Super Bowl champion, um, they had one of the best stretches of this season when they dug themselves out of their 1-5 hole to win 6, 7 straight, whatever it was. I think if Hill stays, Kubiak will use him better than Carmichael ever did. That's an interesting thought. I just don't know if Kubiak wants or values that component in his offense. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe up to the channel. As always, appreciate y'all for being there. Brought to you by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. We'd love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com. Shout out to my girl, Crystal Poche. You got pain, she'll get you out of it. And ProCharge EV, prochargeev.com. Let's see, Brian Mel said, do you think the Saints have to put themselves in a position where they won't progress past a wild card position in the next 4 or 5 seasons due to being cap hell and having Carr at quarterback? I mean, I don't think Carr is your quarterback for the next 4 to 5 seasons. But Brian, I've said pretty consistently, I think the only way out of this for New Orleans is if they have a draft like they did in 17. I'm not saying that's easy, but like it's really the only way out. If you have a whole bunch of starters on rookie deals. Michael Cook, what up? Fisherman Matt, you need a light back. Yeah, I will get a ring light on the front. Chris Williams, betting advice to the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm taking the Chiefs because Mahomes is 10-1 against the spread as an underdog. So you're going to give me Patrick Mahomes in points. I'm going to take that. I would recommend go listen to Sports Bettors Paradise podcast. That's Jimmy Ott's. Go check out the YouTube channel. He gets all his professional bettors on there. And then listen to Jimmy Ott's Football Sunday tomorrow. They'll get them all and they'll give you all their bets, their props, like everything. It's just the Super Bowl generally isn't anybody's favorite play of the year. Everybody bets on the Super Bowl because it's the big game, but it's really not anybody's favorite play of the year. Brambo, Scone has a new mic. Okay, Scone, we see you. Not just a new mic, audio board, streaming software, graphics. I mean, look, put the Hudco graphic up there in the corner, So, Brock up there in the corner. Anyway. Mac Tizeno said, talk about the title of this episode. So, Mac, I did at the start of the show, and then so you know the format of the show if you're new, I'll throw out the topics at the beginning, which I did, which were Ryan Grubb leaving Alabama and the Saints hiring a quarterbacks coach. And I'm pretty excited about should I say pretty excited? That's way too ambitious. I'm cautiously optimistic. Andrew Janocko is who they hired as the quarterbacks coach. He and I'll kind of recap it for those that maybe weren't here at the beginning. Janocko worked with both Clancy Barone and Clint Kubiak in Minnesota. So Clint Kubiak, 35 years old. He's the Saints' new offensive coordinator, son of Gary Kubiak. And when Janocko was the co-offensive line coach with Clancy Barone in Minnesota in 2018. And then whenever Kubiak became the offensive coordinator, got promoted from quarterbacks coach to offensive coordinator, they promoted Janocko from offensive line or wide receivers coach in 2020, where he was working with Justin Jefferson, to quarterbacks coach in 2021 in Minnesota. So Janocko and Kubiak have worked together. So I like that they're both 35, 36 years old. They've worked together on staff as OC quarterback coach before. They know each other. They have that synergy. You want your staff to all be pulling in the same direction with the same ideas, or same idea of how to go about building an offense. So I like what they're doing. I mean, I think it is the right thing to do. You needed to shake up your staff. There's only 4 offensive staffers total remaining. One of them is Jari Evans, who was the assistant offensive line coach. I like what the Saints are doing with their offensive staff. Now, I think there's the other gigantic part of this, which is um, you need better players, man. Like I don't think Derek Carr uh, is ever going to be a good quarterback, like an elite quarterback. Your offensive line is atrocious. Ramchick has been injury prone now. Cesar Ruiz has been a starter, but one of the worst graded starters in the NFL. Eric McCoy's been a good player, but Andrews Pete is likely done. And you turned uh, Hurst into a starting left tackle when he was never meant to be anything more than like a rotational swing guy. You've got nothing out of Trevor Penning, who used a first round pick on. Alvin Kamara's aging. Michael Thomas is probably done in New Orleans. You didn't get as much out of Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau at tight end as you hoped you would this year. So you understand my point. Like, I like the coaches. I like what they've done there, but I also think they need an upgrade everywhere on the offensive side of the ball. So how much can new coaching, new, philosophy, all that stuff, how much can that improve you with the talent you have? I think it can improve you some. Is it enough to make you a contender? I don't think so. So, I think they should use as smart as it was to use your first 2 picks this last year on Brzee and Foskey to get better on your defensive front. I think you've got to use your first 2 picks this year on offensive guys. You need an offensive lineman, you need a receiver. If Brock Bowers is there at 14, I think you run the card up to the podium. But, if you do have 5 quarterbacks go in the top 12 picks, that means a really good player at a position need, either a top level wide receiver, a top level offensive lineman, a top level tight end like Bowers. Like, someone's going to fall to you there at 14. Like, you should, if 5, I mean, that's just the nature of it, right? If you have, like, some mock drafts have the first 3 picks all being quarterbacks, and then Nix and McCarthy both going in the top 15 as well. Well, if that's the case, then you will have a great player at a position of need fall to you. So Clayton Knight said, I want to hear about the $500. I don't want to rehash the whole thing, but in 2018, LSU was picked. I think Vegas had him at, I don't know, 7.5, something like that. There was a guy who called the show, Dwayne from Thibodeau. He kept saying LSU was going 10-2. I said, I bet you $500 they don't go 10-2. He took the bet. So every week he called during that season. Comes down to the Texas A&M game, the 7 overtime game, and LSU loses, as we all know. So LSU finishes 9-3. He loses the bet. He calls on Monday, huffing and puffing about how he got cheated and he's not going to pay me the money. So that's 6 years now, or 5 years now, and that coward hasn't paid me the money he owes me, and I am absolutely holding him to it. Don't bet if you don't want to lose. It's an illustration of exactly who you are as a human when you have no integrity whatsoever. I don't need $500. I don't need his money. I don't need his money. It's a matter of principle. Like, you lost a bet, pay up. Period. That's it. And if I ever see him, I'll break his thumbs. You know what I'll do if I ever see him? I'll pull the My Cousin Vinny thing, where Joe Pesci, like, walks in the street and just uppercuts the dude and takes the money right out of his hands. That's what I would do. Ryan Stadler went to the spring game 2010 and literally same day bought a game helmet, had it signed by Patrick Peterson. That's cool. Brett Gidry can't say I've been a day one listener. I've been here for quite a while. Love the show, the progress you made over the years. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, dude. Tucker Oliver, morning, Matt. With him being a senior and draft eligible this year, do you think Connor Griffin makes it to campus? So Connor Griffin is the number 1 player in the country for next baseball season, for those that don't know. He is described as a Bryce Harper, Mike Trout type kid. I know that sounds ridiculous, but keep in mind, when Bryce Harper was coming out, he was a 5-tool guy as a high schooler that everybody knew was going to be the number 1 pick, and it just was different. That's Connor Griffin. He's committed to LSU. Terrio and I had Connor Griffin on the show when he committed a year or 2 years ago, whenever that was. And while I think it is, I will believe it when I see it. I also believe that it is not so cut and dried that that he's going pro. Now, I think ultimately what's going to happen is he's going to be the first pick in the draft, and he's going to make a big pile of money, and he's going to sign. But it is not that cut and dried. I'm telling you, it's not that cut and dried. I would put it at 70-30 he signs. But there's a way better chance of that kid showing up on campus than anybody thinks. Again, I'm not saying it's a good chance. Again, to be very clear, I'm not saying I'm telling you there's a 70% chance I think he signs, like 70-30 he signs. But there's a much better chance of him showing up than anybody would think. Kari Diggs, Unc, how you doing? What are your thoughts on the Pels not making trades? What's their biggest offseason need? Look, I mean, all the scuttle was they weren't going to be active at the deadline. The thing about the Pels is they're hi. What are you doing? Oh yeah? What are you doing? Where you going? Come here. Come here. Gone. Hey, gone. When you talk about the Pels, you talk about a team that is as deep as any team in the league. What they lack, I think, is the killer at the top. You don't have one of the top 5 players in the NBA on your roster. You don't have Joker. You don't have KD in his prime, right? You don't have Luka. And I don't know how you get one of those guys. So, you know, when Toronto won the championship and they had Kawhi as a mercenary, they had the best player in the NBA. So is that what we're talking about, Kyrie? I mean, are we talking about how do they get to be a championship contender? Well, KD's not, the scenario of KD leaving OKC to go to Golden State isn't happening. You're not getting one of the best players in the league to demand a trade to New Orleans. So you need Zion or BI to become one of the 5 best players in the league. And hopefully that happens. If you're talking about being a championship contender, anyway. Like the new setup, how about a little more front lighting? Yeah, I'm probably gonna go today and get a ring light. So I'll have a ring light back there. So you have I'm looking at there's a wall right here. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a wall. So I have my streaming computer right here, and I'm looking at a wall. So I'll put a ring light back there. My TV. I need to turn my TV on too. But anyway, hey, sorry for the shakes here this morning. Sorry. Oh, there we go. All right. After your interview with Sean Salisbury, I really want Brian Greasy. Do you think it's still possible? It doesn't sound like it. I mean, you've hired an OC and a quarterbacks coach now. Jay Ives, Ivan Salazar, UCLA masterfully downplaying the fact they wanted to dump Chip Kelly like a ton of dead weight. Craig Duga, Jefferson Tropics, greater than any Jefferson's Ocean. Then Kari said, since you're a whiskey guy, Conor McGregor's proper 12. So Proper 12 is just sourced juice. And a lot of celebrities did this, and I respect it, man. Like, go make your money. But basically, it's just a sourced brand that he lent his name to an endorsement, which is how they were able to sell it. And they sold the brand for $1 bajillion and all. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine whiskey, but it's more of a that's more of a promotion than it is great juice. So, Tiger Diver, you betting any props tomorrow? One that I know that Randy McKay gave was George Kittle over receiving yards. I'll probably bet that one, and I'll delve in. So, and I need to go back and listen. So, just as a pro tip, so Jimmy every year on his Friday show before the Super Bowl, I can't remember the guy's name, forgive me, but he has a guy on the show who is like the prop bet master. Like it's this guy's forte. And so he gets him on and he gives all of his prop bets for the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go back and listen to yesterday's live at lunch and do that. So we'll run through it all tomorrow. Or just go check the podcast for live at lunch on yesterday's show. Matt, even younger Saints fans can remember the day Kittle went beast mode and hate the Niners. Yeah, that's true. Or Vernon Davis in 2011. Or yes, I mean there's plenty of animosity built up over the years for the Niners. Some person said new studio, not new studio, same office, just a different angle. Bought a new desk, new laptop, streaming software, microphone, soundboard, camera. Got a whole setup now. So that's where you're seeing the little ticker on the bottom. I can stream from one device, the software, to all these different platforms. We're on Instagram live today for the first time. Big Lop, Larest, Jeremy Fontana, what's going on? Mr. Cajun Joker, what's going on? Who Dat Daddy 7, good to see y'all. Lori Ann Connor, good morning. Good to see y'all. Bunker Webb, everybody jumping aboard on the IG. Appreciate y'all. All right. Barry Jocelyn, now we can add car sickness to mornings again. Pat Latusa, listening from London. Make defense great again. Matt, I live in central Mississippi. Last game Connor Griffin had, there were reports of 50 MLB scouts at the game. No doubt. Like he's when I say he's the Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, like that, those aren't my words, right? That's what scouts say. Like he's the next one of those guys that come along about once a decade. And it's who is the guy? Josh Hamilton. There's about one every decade, and he's the next one. And he's from Mississippi and loves LSU. He's committed to LSU, and he's probably going to be the first pick in the draft and sign for $1 bajillion. But I'm just here to tell you that it's not like a 100% complete done deal kid is signing. It is way more likely he signs than doesn't, but I'm just telling you it's not a completely done deal. Bearded Dragon, I'm a 61-year-old Saints fan. I remember many more horror seasons when I was young, but still watching cheer no matter what. All right. I think we might be just about done, y'all. Trivia Carter said, what about TikTok Live? I think I need to check, Trivia, if this can go to TikTok. I'm not positive if it can, but I would love to do that too. I think it does go to Gulf South. I think it does go to Twitch. I can send it to Twitch. Stephen Fry, morning, Matt. What are the updates to Alec Box happening, moving the bullpens? So that project got shelved. I did see the renderings. It looks pretty cool. But they are doing like new semi-premium seating down the baselines, which looks pretty cool. Where you'll have like on your bench, you'll also have like a table in front of you with these like frozen cup holders, like to keep you have like a cup holder where on the table it'll keep your drink cold. It's really cool. I mean, some of the stuff they're planning is really cool. The updates to the box. So, but the bullpen's off the field that got shelved until next year. I know. Kari, I was in middle school when the Niners knocked Pierre Thomas out of the playoffs. No call, of course. Different era too, man. Like I know that's only been 13 years, but I mean, targeting and all the head hits and everything was much less policed. Gulf South aren't Zion and BI both in Supermax deals. They're already paid like champions. They should be able to deliver something. I'm with you, man. But like in order to win the NBA championship, like teams without a top 5 player in the league don't win you don't win the last one. Like, can they get to the playoffs? Can they win series in the playoffs? Yeah, like I think this team's good enough to be a top 6 and avoid the play in. Like if this team is back in the play in, I'll be very disappointed. Like they're good enough to be a top 6. Um, but they're not good enough to beat Denver in a best of 7. Um, I don't think they're good enough to beat the Clippers at their best in a best of 7. I mean, if Kawhi's playing at the level he is, and I know they beat the Clippers the other night, but we talked about that already. Um, you got a healthy Paul George, a healthy Kawhi. I mean, James Harden's actually playing team basketball and can still shoot. I mean, like you're not beating them in a best of 7. So, I mean, you know. Anyway. Well, y'all, I think we might be about done. Appreciate y'all for being here. Again, YouTube, smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook, please like the Matt Moscona page. Share the post as always. Much, much, much love and respect for our friends over at Brock. They've been great supporters of ours. So if you need an orthopedist, remember, weekend after hours clinic open. So if you find yourself in need of an orthopedist, get on by Brock. They're on Bluebonnet near Perkins as an alternative to the ER. Walk-ins are welcome nights and weekends. And always Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Roof repairs, roof replacements, commercial, residential. You can always email me directly, Matt@HudcoRoofing.com. Happy to help facilitate for you. Restored Motions and ProCharge. Shout out Crystal Poche over at Restored Motions. You got pain, she'll take you out of it. Just book a session. Tell you that all the time. All right. Y'all have an awesome weekend. Thanks so much for being here. And we'll see you tomorrow for a Super Bowl Sunday edition of Morning Scone. Peace.